One Piece chapter 1025 is out, and that means we finally get the fully completed art of the 3 chapter cover spread. And then underneath like the last piece we get the full version so we can see how it all comes together, and it looks fantastic. The only thing I would have loved more is if Whitebeard was kind of in the background with Roger and kind of had like the 2 top pirates of the entire era lined up. But I also like the fact that Whitebeard is more in the picture and we see him using his power. The cover story is an octopus writing down Usopp's tales as a captain while others listen and watch. Now, we see the papers in the background that say Big Liar Stories, so I think the octopus obviously knows that Usopp is lying about his stories, but the little birds who are listening in and kind of just writing down notes are fascinated by what he's saying. We start off back at the port and it turns out that Momo is still afraid of heights. And this is kind of something that I would expect because what I see from what happened with what Shinobu did is that it matured his body. Her ability matured his body only. So his mentality, like she said before, will still be of Momo at 8 years old. Honestly, I expected him to have more trouble controlling his new dragon form, but the biggest issue he has is that his eyes are closed and he's afraid of heights. Otherwise, he seems to be able to fly without any issue whatsoever. But in their moments of arguing back and forth, Luffy mentions that if he lets Kaido run wild, pretty much everyone is done for. Now, I think this goes to say that Luffy knows that he's the only one who can hold back Kaido. That means everyone else who's back at Onigashima, they wouldn't be able to stop him. That includes Zoro, that includes Law, that includes Kid, which is pretty big because those are supposed to be the people that if Luffy wasn't there would have to do it. And he's saying that no, it has to be me. No one else can handle it. On the rooftop, the clash between Yamato and Kaido is complete, and it looks like Yamato has more to her ability. The move Kagami Yama is based off an old kabuki tale about 3 different women, and with very different mentalities, kind of butting heads. And what I gathered from reading it is that there's essentially 3 forms that Yamato might be able to switch between, one being wicked, one being gentle, and one being valorous. And it seems like they kind of coincide with defensive, offensive, and base forms, because when Yamato makes a switch, Kaido also mentions that she's going on the defensive. Now continuing with the ice theme, we see that Yamato leaves pretty much an ice clone behind. It looks like it's a body shield that took some damage and then broke away. So basically it's kind of like Gaara's sand clone. Now Yamato is able to land 1 or 2 really solid hits on Kaido, so I don't know if she switched forms again to possibly a more offensive form, but it seems like she's doing more damage and she's hitting more openings, unless this is just Kaido as he's talking, not being as careful. In the midst of the fight, Kaido is talking a lot about the blood that runs in Yamato. Basically, being the son of Kaido means that she could never be someone from Wano. She could never be a samurai. She could never be Odin because she has that blood running through her. He even mentions that she has the blood of an Oni running through her. She's the offspring of an Oni. So what this kind of gives us is a confirmation that both Kaido and Yamato are of Onikin. The implication of this is huge because that might mean that there are more Oni out there. There's an entire Oni race that we haven't met yet that Kaido and Yamato belong to. And interestingly enough, Kaido uses the fact that Yamato is an Oni to say that the samurai, the people that Yamato has befriended this entire time, they've done it out of fear because otherwise they wouldn't want anything to do with Yamato. And even for Yamato, it's beneath her to want to be friends with humans because she is an Oni. In Kaido's eyes, with the power she has and with the Oni bloodline, she should be subjugating these people instead of being friends with them. And we get flashbacks of Ace, we get flashbacks of certain people who tried to help her when she was trying to escape Onigashima. And all of these people are gone now. While I imagine the only reason they're actually gone is because of Kaido, and we know why Ace is gone. But the idea of that is that Kaido sees the Oni as a race that isn't humans, and I'm wondering if this is where his idea that people always turn on you, pirates always turn on you. I wonder if that has something to do with, the Oni race, because he's saying that there's no reason to be friends with humans. You're above that. It tells Yamato that being an Oni, that power should be used to impose your will on others. That is where you belong in this life. And I just want to know where he gets this mentality from. It seems like a very headstrong mentality for him to, I don't know, just have out of the blue. It feels like this comes from something in his past and that he's kind of imposing that on Yamato. We switch back to Momo and Luffy, and basically what we get is a sequence of Momo flying throughout the castle before he gets to the rooftop. And I think this is pretty clever because it does two things for the story. It shows everyone in the castle that Luffy is back, because Luffy is riding on the back of Momo. So every time he blasts through a floor, every time he runs past people, people see this giant dragon, and they see Luffy hanging on his back. Now this also goes to show that Momo has this new form, because each time someone sees Momo, they mention, oh, Kaido's here, oh, Kaido's destroying the castle, Kaido's flying. But they notice the color and they say, oh, it's a peach dragon. This person is different. What's going on here? So basically we're rushing through the exposition of Momo's a big dragon now and Luffy's back. We're getting that in a few panels here and there, and basically we're seeing everyone realize what's happening. And then we see the scenes come together because we get like a distant image of Momo struggling in the background, and then we get Yamato charging up her what looks to be the final move of the Yamato and Kaido battle. Momo flies down, which gives Luffy the opportunity to go Snake Man, and then Yamato goes in with the Divine Step, and they both attack at once. And a few things to see here as well, because Luffy goes into Snake Man almost seamlessly and then goes out of it just as seamlessly. Basically, he does it for just this one attack and then it's over, and it doesn't seem to be any drawbacks whatsoever. We saw this when he went Gear 4th against the pirate ship, basically when the raid was first starting out. We also see this on the fight with Kaido on the rooftop, so it looks like Gear 4th's limitations are slowly but surely being reduced. And in the panel of Yamato looking over to Luffy, we get kind of this shaded scene, and to me it looks a lot like Luffy is supposed to have a similarity to Ace. Something about the way that panel is drawn just makes me think of Ace using Fire Fist. I don't know why, because when I look at it more, it doesn't have as many similarities to Ace as I initially thought, but that's the first thought that comes to my mind. Now with Yamato's ability, it seems like this comes from the same area as Thunder Bagua, because when we first saw Kaido use it, it was also named as a divine move. And initially I thought this was going to be a Thunder Bagua, but this looks like a Yamato original move, because it's kind of got the ice theme to it. Basically a white snake kind of reminds me of ice or the glacial moves that she's been using for the other half of the fight. Now of course Kaido is back up immediately, and we see that he has switched over to his dragon form. So we have this beautiful stare down of Kaido looking at Momo and Luffy and kind of just assessing the situation. And of course we get Luffy's declaration that he'll be king of the pirates alongside Momo's declaration that he will be shogun. And I like this just because of the similarities of what each character is trying to convey. Because we know what Luffy's trying to do. He's going to be Pirate King, he's going to find One Piece, but to see Momo still have his conviction, to see him announce what he's going to do, especially in front of Kaido, you know, the man who's been giving him so much trouble, the man who killed his father, that is really strong for him. And even if it's not necessarily a part of maturity, even if it's just Momo, trying to be brave, I think this is a big point for Momo. Kaido's reaction to all this, by the way, is very interesting, because he's not at all worried about, the fact that there's another dragon, the fact that Luffy is still alive. He seems almost thrilled that, now he has more fight to do. He's got this other dragon they can take out, because he said, the world doesn't need 2 dragons. We only need me. And basically his biggest shock is, how unexpected. You guys are still alive. Okay, well, I'll just take you out right now. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be some fight here. Are we going to have a 3v1 where we have Yamato, Luffy, and Momo versus Kaido? But honestly, I don't think that Momo should be part of this fight. I don't think he'll have the ability to tangle with Kaido, especially in a dragon form. If he does anything, it'll be by accident, and I think that Kaido should be able to handle that. I think Yamato might be out for the count because she's been fighting this whole time and she's got to be out of energy. So what I expect is maybe after a few clashes, Momo is going to take Yamato out of the way so that they can focus more on making sure the island doesn't fall, while Luffy and Kaido have their one-on-one again. All in all, a good chapter. This one was definitely set up because we're getting to the final Kaido fight. Whether we're going to have 3v1, whether we're going to have Luffy versus Kaido, not entirely sure, but we are setting up for that finale. And we're going on break, so expect a Kaido video to come out sometime within the next few days to fill in that gap with no chapter. But guys, let me know what you thought about the chapter down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. There will be a poll in the description, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.